Hello everybody, welcome back to a tutorial on rigging, how to rig your character. So, we've been making Animal Crossing characters. At this point, you should have finished modeling your character, texturing your character, which means UV unwrapping, and texture painting, and then your character should be all ready to rig. Well, this tutorial is going to show you how to rig your character so you can make it move around. We're going to be putting a skeleton in the character and showing how you can use that to move your character around, which will help you animate your character, because that's the last step of this project, animating your character. Okay, let's dive right in. Okay, first things first, let's do a quick check to make sure our character will rig properly. I'm going to go into edit mode and I'm just going to check the geometry here. So far, I like what I'm seeing. There's going to be one bone that's going to control the entire head. We could add another bone on the ear if we want to like wiggle the ears maybe. Actually, this is a frog, so the eyes would be right here. Let's inspect everything else here. So what I'm looking for is just evenly spaced edges and faces. Because what's going to happen here is things might be moving around, and we might want to make sure that I'm just going to actually move these in a little bit. This is the t-shirt. I'm just going to grab it and move them in a little bit because the elbow is going to be moving right there. So let's check the body. Nice. Actually, I'm going to put another edge loop right here. I'm just trying to make them even. We haven't mirrored anything over yet. Okay, the kneecap is going to move. We're going to put one right there, one right there. It's just basically you have to think about areas that are going to move a lot. And you want to make sure there's geometry around those areas, so then the character can deform or move, wiggle. We want this character to move. And if there's not enough geometry, it might move a little weirdly. So that's looking good. The next step is when you were modeling this character, you were using modifiers. You were using the mirror modifier. And the mirror modifier, of course, we only work on one side of the character in edit mode. And then it mirrors it over. Well, now's the time. Okay, we got our character looking how we want. We need to apply these modifiers so then they can become real. Basically what it means is just like, hey, you've been working on this side. It's time to make this side just, be real, exactly. And then you can click on it. So the first thing we're going to do is go into object mode. The key thing is we have to go into object mode. We're going to click on this little arrow. And we're going to hit apply. And then I'm also going to apply the subdivision smooth as well. This also smooths things out. This is what it looks like without subdivision smooth. This is what it looks like with. I'm going to click on apply. And if I go into edit mode, we can see now we have all this extra geometry. And this is going to be great for our character. We're going to now do this with everything else. So we're going to do this with the dress. Apply. I also a note for the dress or for any clothing, I like to add a solidify modifier because it adds a little thickness to something. If I'll show you what a solidify modifier does. I'll add in a plane, and you're like, okay, this thing is super thin. Look at that thing. Well, if you go to the modifiers tab, which is that little wrench area, and go to add modifier and look for solidify, look at what it does. It literally adds thickness. It makes a flat thing thick. So that's what I'm doing here with the t-shirt or the dress of this character. Anyways, I'm going to apply them. Apply them just means make them real. So I'm gonna hit apply. Okay, go to edit mode. Nice, that's looking good. Awesome. We're going to do this to the body as well. So apply the mirror modifier, apply the subdivision surface modifier. Boom. Okay. Our character is ready to rig. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to make sure I label my stuff real fast. So I'm going to make sure this is the dress. So I'm going to double click dress. I'm actually going to hide it for now because I'm just going to hide the body. The dress will rig later. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to add a bone. And this is whenever we rig something, rigging something means we give it a skeleton. We can make it move around. And that's this tab right here. It's called an armature. And we're going to bring in a single bone. And as you can see, it's currently like inside the head right now. To make it a little bit easier on ourselves, we're going to make it easier to see. So we're going to go into visibility. We're going to go to the object properties tab, which is right here. We're going to go to visibility. Let's see, am I blocking it? We're going to go to the object properties tab here. We're going to go to visibility, and then it's in viewport display. Actually, it's viewport display. Sorry. And then we're going to say show in front. And now the bone shows in front of our mesh, which is exactly what we want, because we don't want it to be hidden. We want to actually see the skeleton. Okay, so we have our bone. Let's start building a skeleton. I'm going to go ahead and move this into, I'm going to start with the spine. I'm just going to kind of move this generally to where it's going to be. When you're making a skeleton, you are going to click on your bone, and then you're going to go into edit mode. And this is where you start building out the skeleton of your character. A bone has 3 parts. It's like we have this joint, we have the bone itself. I'm just simply clicking on it and hitting G and R and S to move things around. Just the same thing as you normally would in Blender. Hit G, you can move it around. I'm gonna move this down a little bit, move this up. We're gonna start by making the spine of our character. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subdivide this bone. So we have 3 of them instead of 1. I'm gonna right click, subdivide. And then on the bottom left here, you should see number of cuts, set that to 2. And now there's 3 bones. Cool. I'm also gonna give the bones a little bit of an arc, because remember, spines have a nice like little curve to them. So I like that. I'm going to then click on the nub of the bone, which is the joint, this little dude, and I'm going to hit E to extrude the bone. Yes, that's right. You can extrude bones just like you would geometry in Blender. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to make the arm. So I'm going to add in, actually you'd think we just, extrude out this way. You could, I'm actually gonna make the arm separately. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add in a single bone. Oh, there it is. And I'm actually going to rotate this to be the arm here. I'm just gonna RZ, I'm gonna 0 out this rotation, SY0. I'm just gonna straighten these out. Yeah, here we go. So I'm just kind of moving this bone to kind of get into arm position here. Put this right here. Clicking, I'm just hitting G to grab and moving stuff around. Let's see if that... Okay, the next step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna subdivide this, because remember, we want a bone right on the elbow. So let's see, let's get this. So I'm thinking like the elbow is gonna bend right here. I'm going to move the elbow back a little bit by hitting GY. Okay, so you can see I moved the elbow back a little bit because that's, remember, where the elbow's gonna bend. So now that we've made an arm, let's go ahead and add a collarbone. This is gonna be really important for just controlling the arm. So we're gonna have to go to add single bone, and it's right there. So we'll move this down. We're gonna rotate it 90 degrees, scale it in, and we're gonna kind of move it forward a little bit. And then I'm gonna rotate it like so. This is just a collarbone. It is just, it's gonna help us control the arms. So we're just gonna put that right here. Just checking it out from the side. Nice. Now we're gonna make the legs. So I'm gonna add in another bone, bring that one down, GX, RZ90. Oh, sorry, RZX90. So the bone goes down like that. I'm gonna scale this down. Looking at it from the side here, just double checking. I'm gonna go to the bottom of the heel. I'm also gonna right click and I'm going to subdivide. Because remember, there's gonna be a bend point here. Notice how every single place where there's kind of a bend, like, for example, like the knee, you're gonna want a joint to control that bend point, because in the end, we're gonna be able to rotate the bones and get the character, maybe to kick their foot back because it's soccer or something. So I'm just gonna kind of move this forward, or like they're kicking something. It's really just trying to make this thing feel like it can walk how we want it to. And then I'm also going to extrude out a bone for the foot. So I click on this and I hit E and then extrude a bone out for the foot. Let's try maybe get this up a little bit. Nice. I'm actually gonna bring this up a little bit. Gonna kind of get this thing moving it in a little bit. Nice. Okay, so now that we have half the skeleton made, we're going to mirror it over to the other side just to save us some work. The real important step here is we need to label our bones. So let's start with the head. To label our bones, we go to this green bone tab right here, bone properties, and we just click in this and we say head. So this is gonna be the head bone. This is gonna be like the chest bone. We'll call this the belly. And then we'll call this the hips. It's all in the spine, but we're kind of giving it some specific names. And then I'm gonna call this one the collarbone. Dot. And remember, so we now need to label if it's on the left or the right. And on the character, it's on the left. So that's the left side. So we're gonna label this collarbone dot left. Shoulder, let's see, call this shoulder dot left. And then wrist dot left. And then we're gonna call this one let's see, that was the hips. This is gonna be the thigh dot left. This is the knee dot left. And then this is gonna be the foot dot left. We'll make sure we're labeling these things. Because it's gonna help you out so much later. You're gonna really need to label these bones. Okay, so now that we've gotten all of these kind of labeled, we're actually going to mirror it all over. So we're gonna hit A, right click, and then we're gonna look for something that says symmetrize. Check this out. Boom. Now check this out. If I click on all these, where it said dot left, it automatically switched it to right. It does it for you. Like, that's so nice. Okay, so we have the skeleton pretty much blocked out. We can add another one for the ears or for the eyes if you want to. Just know that wherever you are putting a bone, you'll be able to move or wiggle. And we're just trying to get this thing so then we can, get it to move. Okay, so now we gotta make sure this skeleton's actually feeling connected to each other. Because right now, let's see, if I just move the spine and the spine and the head move together, and that's right, but isn't the leg supposed to go with the spine? Like, if I move this up, the leg should too, because of course, this bone should be connected to this bone. Okay, so to get the skeleton fully working together, we need to make sure this leg is parented to this joint right here. The arms and the wrist need to be parented to the clavicle, which needs to be parented to the chest. So they all kind of need to be parented together. So then when one thing moves, so if I move this one, it will also move this as well. Because remember, if I move my chest, look at me. my arms move with me. So if I move this thing, this should go with it. So let's start by parenting this. And really fast, before we do anything, I want to show you what parenting an object does. So if I have a cube, it's right here, it's chilling. If I have another cube, it's chilling right here. If I click on this cube and hit G, it moves around as we'd expect. But if I shift select this cube and shift select it to this one, so I click on this cube and then hit Control P, this cube is now parented to this cube. So basically, if I hit G, they move around together. They'll even rotate together. They'll scale together. Parenting just kind of links an object next to each other. So if you want to make like your orbiting thing, you could parent things to other objects, and then you get interesting interesting effects. So that's what parenting does. It basically will stay with it. Very, very fun to do. And you can even still move this around and it will stay exactly. So here's your planet maybe. Your planet's like way over here. And now you got nice little, or maybe you want to make like a little like zero gravity space thing. I don't know. That space training thing. Anyways, that's what parenting does. And that's Control P. Okay, so let's get everything parented properly. I'm gonna click on the skeleton. I'm gonna go into edit mode. I'm gonna start with this arm. I'm going to shift select the bone and shift select this bone and hit Control P. Keep offset. Nice. Now I'm going to shift select the bone, shift select this joint, and I'm gonna hit Control P. Actually, we need to select the bone. What am I doing? Shift select this, Control P, keep offset. Nice. Okay, we're gonna do it with this side too. Oh, it already did it. Oh no, I don't know if it actually did. Shift select, Control P. Nice. Okay. Then we do this one, shift select this bone, Control P, keep offset. Nice. Okay. We're on a roll here because now if I move this together, it should. Let's go to pose mode. There we go. Okay, we see it in pose mode. I was wondering, like, yeah, so if I rotate this in pose mode, yeah, there we go. It can do yoga. Yes, we're going to yoga. Okay, that's basically the effect of parenting. Once these joints are parented together, they kind of move in tandem, which is exactly what we want. So let's go back into edit mode and let's finish off with the legs. I'm going to shift select this bone and shift select the hips and hit Control P, keep offset. Shift select this leg, Control P, keep offset. All right, let's see what we got. Let's go into pose mode. I should be able to, yeah. So we're gonna call this the root bone because it's kind of affecting everything. Let's just go back into the bone and let's call this hips, root, bone, slash, can I do a slash hips? Awesome, okay, we can do that. So that's the root bone. So check this out. And then I'm also gonna go into edit mode, actually pose mode, and let's just test this out. So this bone, yeah. So we can get that to like wind up like a kick, and then kick the soccer ball. But as you can tell, we're kind of moving the bones and the body's not moving with it. So now that we've got our skeleton made, let's actually get the body to go with the skeleton. This is an exciting moment. We're actually going to see our character walk or move for the first time. Now, before we get your skeleton to control your character, I just want to show you how bones control objects. When you modeled your object, you had like all this geometry and stuff. Well, bones actually can control individual parts of the geometry, because of course I made this little bean here to kind of show you what it does. What we want is when we go to pose mode, when I move, this little bone right here, I only want it to control this part of my little bean. If I move this part right here, I want this chunk to move and couldn't be controlled by, that little bone. And likewise, this one needs to control just this part of the bone here. So let's get these bones to control this little bean. I'm going to shift select the object, then shift select the skeleton, and I'm gonna hit Control P, and I'm gonna say armature deform with automatic weights. It's a good place to start. So I'm gonna click on that, boop. And now the bean is parented. But now watch this. If I click on the skeleton, go into pose mode, look at that. It moves. If I move this bone, it controls just that little part of it. If I move this bone, and now I've kind of you can make it like a little finger, and now you can pose it. This is great if you want to make like a punching bag maybe. And now you can maybe, make it rotate when it gets punched. All sorts of things. But you're probably wondering, what's happening here? Well, what's happening here is each one of these bones is controlling a different set of faces. And if we click on our object and go into weight paint mode, we will see, okay, so right now you don't see it, but this is what this bone is controlling. So let me show you. So on the right here on the object data properties, if we click on this, there are these things called vertex groups. All it is just basically like, all right, a chunk of your object is being controlled by bone 01, which is this bone right here. If I click on this, it will now show me what bone 2 is controlling. And weight painting simply, it looks like a thermal camera. It just means yellow means it's going to control more of, blue means, okay, this bone, of course, we don't want to control this part of the object. And then we go to this bone and say, okay, wow, look, this bone, this is red. So we know this bone is for sure controlling just this object, just this part of the object. With bone 02, and the crazy thing is I can actually paint. So let me go to draw. I'm gonna set the radius. I'm going to go to add. I'm gonna set it to add. And I'm gonna kind of paint this in a little bit more. Maybe I'll be really ease off the strength a little bit here. I don't want too much. Maybe set this to a little lower. I'm just trying to paint this. And I'm basically controlling, hey, bone 02, you're gonna be controlling this much of the object. So I'm just painting a little bit. And then in the end, I'm going to I want a little more control on the bottom, maybe. And now, if I go to object mode and click on my skeleton, go to pose mode, now it has a slightly different control over the object. Let me show you what happens when it gets it wrong. So if I go to the little bean, if I go to pose mode, if I go to weight paint mode, and for some reason, what if we wanted this bone to control like a little bit of this? It's not gonna look good, but I'll show you, I'll paint some stuff here. Look, this is gonna be crazy. I'm gonna go, so I basically saying, okay, hey you, bone, this one, you're gonna control a little bit of this. It makes no sense, but I'll show you what happens. Let's go to object mode, we'll click on the skeleton, go to pose mode, look what happens. Actually, look what happens when I rotate this. Let's see here. Oh yeah, see, there we go. Look at that. Some things are messing up. It's getting pretty screwy. So basically, when we're going over to our character, we want the head to only control the head. We don't want the head to somehow control the foot. We don't want that. So let's go ahead and get our character rigged. Okay, let's start by rigging the head. That's easy. So I'm actually just gonna shift select the head and then shift select the skeleton and hit Control P. we could do automatic weights. I'm going to do empty groups. So basically, it just means the bone isn't going to control anything for now. Just wait. Just click empty groups. Boop. And then we need to click on the head. And we need to go to, if I go to weight paint, you'll see what's going on here. Right now, it's all blue. Nothing is controlling the head. And what do we want to control the head? The head bone, of course. So we're going to go into object data properties and we're going to click on head. I think we actually need to be in edit mode for this for some reason. Yeah, I know why. If we go into edit mode here and select A to select all the faces, we need to actually select all of the faces to say, hey, all of these faces, you are going to be controlled by the head. And we do that by just saying we have the head vertex group selected. So I have the head selected and I'm going to hit assign and needs to have a weight of 1. It's called weight painting because it's just like, imagine all the weight is being everything is being controlled a weight of 1 by the head bone. So I'm gonna hit assign. And now if I go into weight paint mode, look at that. It's all red. We want this to be completely red because if we go into pose mode, look at what happens when we rotate the head. Da, 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 da. Hold on. Rock. Okay. Boom. We got the head rigged. Heck yes. Let's do the body. Okay. So let's go back into object mode. Let's shift select the body. Then the skeleton, I'm holding shift. So I hold shift, I select the body, then I click on the skeleton. I'm gonna hit Control P, parent with automatic weights. And check this out. We go into, we click on the skeleton, we go into pose mode. Let's do this thing. Yeah, it's coming like Oh, he's shredded. Look at that. He's going to the gym. He's looking great. He's lifting weights and stuff. Okay, now this is where we test some stuff out here. So I'm gonna check this. Oh, he's doing some stretches. This is where you kind of want to test out your rig and see if it's doing any funky stuff. Yeah, that's why we have a clavicle, because now we're gonna rotate the whole shoulder like this. So, hello. Wow, this character's got a really big head. It's tough. I think. Oh yeah, we can scale down the bone and we can make the head really small. Okay, there we go. I mean, that's a quick solution. Okay, so now the character is rigged. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if we like how things are being controlled. I'm gonna click on the body. I'm gonna go into weight paint mode, and I'm just gonna kind of click through this and just see. Like, look at this. The knee is like affecting a little bit too much the heel. So I'm gonna kind of make this a little different here. I'm gonna go to subtract, and I'm going to oh, that's too much. We want to turn down the weight and then the strength. And I'm just going to kind of erase this a little bit here because we don't want it to, maybe there's a way to soften this a little bit. Strength, weight. Oh, interesting. So I'm just going to I'm just subtracting some weight from this, because I only want this to control the knee, not like the foot. I'm just kind of brushing this off a little bit. There we go. I wanted to also control a little bit more of this. So I'm gonna change this from subtract to add. I'm gonna turn down the radius of the brush here. And I'm gonna kind of turn down the weight a little bit and then turn down the strength. And then we're gonna just kind of brush this in a little bit. Maybe even a little higher too. Just kind of trying to get this to smoothen out a little bit. I think we can, what's average? Oh, interesting. Okay. Average kind of smooths everything out a little bit. Oh, we can blur it. Ooh, that's nice. That's good for softening control. Yeah, okay. So, okay, we can kind of go up through here. Okay, thigh. Okay, that's good. I like that. Foot left. Ooh, that's nice. I actually want the foot to control a little bit more of the heel. So let's just go ahead and let's add a little bit more control over that heel. I'm just basically saying, remember, I click on the left foot, and then what you see is what the bone is controlling. So I'm just clicking, just brushing in some more control here. And just trying to get this bone to properly control this a little bit. Okay, cool. Knee. Okay, interesting. Maybe I add a little more control up here because I want this knee bone. Remember, that's the knee. That's the thing that's going to be kicking. Nice. Maybe blur this out a little bit. Nice. Okay, let's keep going. Thigh. That's pretty good. Maybe I'd blur out just a little bit of this. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wrist. Pretty good. Shoulder. A little more control right here. Let's change that to an add brush and give it a little more control. Yeah. Collarbone. That's pretty good. I want the collarbone to actually control a little bit more behind. So I'm actually going to add a little bit more control behind here. Yeah, because remember, the collarbone's also controlling a little bit the back too. So let's get this. I'm also going to blur this out so it kind of is very gradual. Good for gradual transitions. Wrist, okay, that's looking nice. Shoulder, looking nice. Wrist, shoulder. This is controlling a lot here. So I think we should blur this out a little bit. Yeah, that I'm just looking at what this is controlling. Collarbone. Yeah, the collarbone should be controlling a little bit more. So let's go to brush. Let's add a little bit more along this thing here. There we go. And then let's blur it out. Just trying to make it very nice and gradual. Okay, let's see here. Let's keep on going. Head, we know what we want the head to do. Chest is like doing nothing. It's like, chest is doing nothing. We need to change that. So let's go to brush and let's add a little bit more control over this top here. Because that's kind of where the chest lives, you know, right? Chest area. And then let's blur it out. Just I using the blur just kind of soften things because we want things to be soft. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's give this a test. So we're gonna go into pose mode, click on the skeleton here, go to pose mode. Just kind of trying to see if I like this. Yeah. Maybe this leg needs a little bit less control. I could see that. Yeah, because it's doing some crumply action here. Anyways, this is something we can workshop. Try to get your character to just test it out with some poses. You know, if you tried to maybe do a run, you know, if I tried to bend this foot, look how much it's deforming this upper thigh here. We might not like that because look at that. I try to rotate this out and it like crumples in its chest. We don't want that. So we need to go into object mode, weight paint, and we need to find, this is why it's important to label your bones, by the way. Thigh right, we need to erase some control from this. So I'm just gonna go to subtract and kind of subtract this out a little bit so it's not controlling so much of our character. And then I'm gonna blur it a little bit, just because. Let's subtract it. Gotta subtract it some more. Yeah, we don't want the leg controlling so much. Yeah, we need to do that on that leg too. Anyways, you get kind of the idea of what we're going to be doing here. We're basically, oh gosh, yeah, look at that. It's like, yeah, you can see. Well, this takes a little bit of work. So give it a shot, and I'm excited to see you move your characters for the first time. This will help you set up everything you need to animate it. Yeah, we need to fix this. Okay. Next time, we will be animating our characters. So have fun. See you next time.